All right, so here's the deal. So you
Yeah.
you watched this game yesterday, and what going in? I don't. We talked to you a lot going into it,
Yeah.
but did you give them any chance going into this game, the Patriots?
I mean, my predictions were all for the Bengals. I think once T. Higgins was out and you knew Jamar Chase, I guess, ate some bad Chipotle or something, that he was going to be limited even more so than only having 3 practices. So I gave him a chance. I thought that they'd be, inside the margin of the spread, but I think it was just an example yesterday of when you play good, clean football, you play good defense, you run the ball, things all kind of go your way. I mean, that seems like that was the formula they've been trying to win with. So, it's a big win for them, a great way to, get off to a good start.
Okay, so the offensive line, everyone, you, Perillo, Reese, even maybe. Nah, not, I won't go as far as Reese. Everyone was saying that the offensive line had looked terrible during all of the preseason. What did you see from them yesterday? What were they good at? What did they struggle with? Can you get positionally specific with some people?
And just real quickly, because I know Perillo made it a point of not only not saying that, Fred, he never said they were good, but he said they're fine. It's an offensive line. I don't think Paul ever was on record as saying
I was just
stuff.
under the impression when he came in and said that they were that the team was terrible that he also meant the offensive line. But okay.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I thought they held up okay. I mean, looking at, some of the stats, I mean, they were pressured on nearly 50% of their dropbacks, which is, a lot. And I mean, credit to Jacoby Brissett. I thought he, moved well in the pocket. He was able to avoid some of that pressure. They prevented it from causing a mistake. They almost had one interception. In the past, it seems like that's a ball that probably gets picked off. So I think it was okay. It held up, but I definitely think it needs to be better. You can't be under that much pressure and expect to not make mistakes going forward. So, I think that, like I said, I think they threaded the needle with all this stuff, all their weaknesses. They kind of were able to hide those things. They were able to get some big runs at the end that hid some of their lack of production in the passing game. So it all kind of went right yesterday. But I definitely think there are things that they're going to have to clean up and certainly get better at if they're going to, continue to win games like this.
Well, Mike, from an X's and O's standpoint, what could the Bengals defense have done differently? Because obviously, if you're doing, a 6-man offensive line, that's taking something away from your offense, and it should allow the defense an opening to do something. Why couldn't the Patriots or anyone else continue to do that? Because a defense would then be able to, or should be able to, do what?
Well, I mean, they should have been able to take the ball away. I think that, it's similar to what the Patriots defense did last year, where they had games like this where, you gave up 16 points. You're like, we think we should win the game if we only give up 16 points. So I think the big change was just, like I said, the simple fact that the Patriots didn't make those stupid mistakes. They didn't make the fumbles that they were, making last year in bunches. And that really, I think, defined this game was just that, I think Hardy, remember last year, we said it a bunch. Like, it always felt like the last couple of years, Patriots needed kind of a narrow path to victory. They weren't going to get behind and come back. They weren't going to get in a big shootout. But when they get the lead and the game kind of plays into their hands, they're able to execute it. So I think it was a little bit of a Bill Belichick kind of tribute gem there. But again, it's a really hard way to live if they don't start to improve, if they don't start to really get their wide receivers and push the ball down the field a little bit.
How do you think Keon White looked? Let me rephrase. Keon White looked far better beyond anyone's expectations. What do you attribute that to?
Honestly, I say this as somebody who hates being on the pump the brakes a little bit on Keon White guy going into the season. I thought he was really solid. I thought one of the 3 sacks he was involved in that, he really defeated the guard and, was able to make the play. I thought the other ones were really more about the team rush. So I think he's really disruptive inside. That's where he's at his best. Anybody who was expecting him to be Matthew Judon off the edge and have all these moves, even Keon White would have told you this summer. He said it, explicitly that, I rush well from the inside. I need to develop coming from the outside. So I just thought overall the team rushed well. But again, like just for comparison's sake, I talk about Patriots being under duress almost half the time. I mean, for all the good that the Patriots defense did, their pressure rate was 17%. So they weren't getting consistent pressure. I mean, part of that was the plan, I think, with Burrow, as it was 2 years ago when they played him, to, not be too aggressive, rush 4, stay in our lanes, try to make them take the checkdowns. And, this year it worked. 2 years ago, we threw for 375 yards. So I think it was a good plan. I think they executed it well, but I really credit the whole defense for just how they all played together. And, Keon White, I thought, just by being a solid part of that upfront pass rush, was able to capitalize on, a couple sacks that kind of fell right into his lap.
The other big story was the secondary and Christian Gonzalez. Obviously, we spoke to you and a lot of other people about how he didn't exactly look great during the month of August. But yesterday, I thought he did okay on Jamar Chase. The one deep ball Chase caught was during zone when the Patriots were in zone and not man. Gonzalez held up.
Yeah, he did. I mean, and it shows his athleticism. He's able to run with these guys, and that's just what makes him special. And there's a handful of guys, him and I throw Drake May in the mix. When they were on the field this summer, it's like, look, these guys, they move different. They're special athletes, and that's what Christian Gonzalez is. I think he probably gets a little bit of a bad rap sometimes just because he's a quiet guy. He's not that Sauce Gardner, fiery Ty Law type that is going to be in your face and talking all through the game. So. He's a silent assassin, and I think yesterday, not a lot of targets, not a lot of opportunities, but it's just going to get harder. We got DK Metcalf coming up, you got Garrett Wilson. I mean, it's just getting going now. So I think we're going to be in for a good season from Gonzalez, but he's got have a lot of tests coming up.
Yeah, I mean, he did a very good job, seemingly on Jamar Chase, but Jamar Chase also was throwing a tantrum for the second half of that game. Again, not getting off the field on a couple of occasions, including one time where they had to call too many men on the field penalty on a punt because he was sulking his way off the field before he couldn't get off by the time the ball was snapped, which is really making a statement. I don't even know why he played, but okay. I know it's not an easy answer, but if you had to rate it, how much of this was the Patriots winning and how much of this was the Bengals losing?
I give the Patriots a lot of credit in this one. I don't think it was a story of the Bengals mistakes really being the only reason the Patriots were able to squeak it out. I mean, I just looked to the end of the game, getting a defensive stop when let's face it, it felt like all the momentum was going towards the Bengals. I mean, we were all just like, oh man, here comes Joe Burrow time. But the defense did their job at the end. They stepped up, they got a stop, they forced a punt. And then, we saw that before the last couple of years where the defense does their job, the offense comes out and punts it right back to them. And then, credit really, Ramondre Stevenson, I think you got to highlight him as, dragging some guys and making that last drive happen and picking up a couple first downs. So, it's a back and forth game. It's a game, we know that every year it's going to be a couple scores, a couple plays that really define the game. So, I'm going to give the Patriots credit in this one because I thought, especially what they did at the end, stepping up, closing it out. All three phases contributed. Nobody made that killer mistake. So I think it was a team win, that the Patriots can take credit for and feel good about.
Yeah, we hadn't mentioned Ramondre Stevenson yet with you. We were talking about him a lot earlier. and quite frankly,
sure.
I'm
just kidding.
All right, I didn't even know who that was. I had to look him up real quick. No, but Stevenson and Gerard Mayo and really the whole coaching staff, if you want to give credit somewhere, yeah, the Bengals look like maybe they look past the Patriots a little bit, but credit where it's due to Ramondre Stevenson, Gerard Mayo, and the coaching staff for having a game plan that, in this case, yesterday, worked. And I think for the most part, they executed it way better than I would have expected for a first-time head coach in his first game.
I mean, I just think during a rebuild, I think every win and even every positive play even that you get is just worth so much. It's worth its weight in gold. I mean, you could see last night the reaction of the Patriots players, how they, giving Mayo the Gatorade bath. I just think that you don't know how many wins they're going to get this year. And it was a great first win, but just to have a little bit of validation after an offseason where, look, we're all over them constantly. That's how it goes here. But to go out and just, see the team kind of play in a way that they looked really well coached. They weren't killing themselves. They were doing the little things necessary to win the game. It's a great reflection on the start that they've got. Now they got to keep it going. I mean, we might forget about this game by the end of the season if they don't, take some of the successful lessons from this one and continue to build off of it. But I agree, Hardy. I mean, I think you got to give a lot of credit to Mayo. Had a physical camp. They were in pads a lot. I thought the Patriots, especially on defense, looked ready to play. They looked in condition. They didn't look like they were having trouble tackling. So I just thought for a first game under a new regime, it was just a really, positive and validating type of win. But again, it's only going to get harder from here. So they got to build on it.
All right, Mike Dussault, thank you so much for the time, sir.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we appreciate it. How pissed is Belichick, by the way? Oh, boy. Because he's got to watch these games because of all his jobs he's not good at now. He But he's got to be so pissed.
Well, we got the report over the weekend that he's already planning to.
Oh
come
yeah,
back.
can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we will.
Well, 'cause there's
Picking
not
and
enough
choosing
of the-
where he's going to go.
Yeah. All right, let's get to that coming up. Also, your friend Tommy Brady was on TV yesterday. I think a lot of us probably watched at least the beginning of that wonderful game in Cleveland.
As much as I could take of it.
Tom Brady, I don't know if you think this too, and I don't want to cast aspersions, but I believe that man's had facial plastic surgery. I think that he has had some work done.
It looks like he's got that Joan Rivers. It looks like it's painful to speak, to move the jaw up and down.
I don't
Skin
know.
is very tight.
He became obsessed at some point with his face.
Mm-hmm.
And the lots of they've shaved bones in his face, and also the Botox. He gets Botox so often that I've never seen him be able to move his forehead. And then I started looking at the play-by-play guy because they went to the booth a million times, and the play-by-play guy looked fine.
Yeah.
And his forehead was moving all over the place.
Kevin Burkhardt, yes.
Yeah, whoever's not Buck and Aikman anymore.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.